Right, Bo. Manchester airport attack.
Mm.
Finally, something has happened. Well, let me just blown out of proportion there. They've been found guilty, kind of. Not both of them, apparently. A whole year on, this whole situation. If those that don't remember, two individuals saw fit to lay into the police at an airport, which is choice. I'm not going to lie, it's choice. And when this happened, it was there was again very selective footage that was released, which it looked pretty bad. I guess to some people it looked pretty bad. The police officer was stomping on this chap's head, I think, and instantly there were calls that this was Islamophobia. There was that sort of radioactively stupid lawyer that came out and said it was an attempted assassination. Absolute imbecile. And there were MPs condemning it. Yvette Cooper came out, made statements. What's her actual official position?
Secretary.
Yeah, Home Secretary. So it was pretty severe, right? When all this, not only that, oh goodness me, I forgot the best bit. I don't know if you remember this, Bo, but when it all happened, there was effectively a riot / protest outside the police station, where they threw bricks and eggs and so on and so forth at a locked police station because they were all cowards, demanding the release of these people. These were all Muslims, of course, because, of course, that's what they do. Well, anyway, further footage was released, which didn't look great for them. Didn't look great. Didn't look great. And then the full picture started to, come together. It was Manchester Evening News that kept releasing stuff. And anyway, a whole year on, they finally had their, days in court, and they've been found guilty. So I thought we'd just go through what they've been found guilty of. Okay. So,
well, if I could just say a quick few words, just for people to recap, or some people I saw on Twitter just the other day, some people, probably Americans or foreign people, weren't aware of the backstory. So when it first, as you mentioned, there was some selective. The first bit of footage that was released was very selective. So it was a clip, just a few seconds long, and it starts a particular instant in time, almost a particular frame in time. There's a guy, guy, laying on the floor, effectively face down, and a copper just boots him in the face and then tries to stomp on the back of his head, kind of doesn't really properly stomp him, but boots him in the face and kind of stomps him on the back of the head. And that was the clip, just a few seconds long, but particularly starting at an instant in time. And it looks like just straight up police brutality. If you take only that bit of evidence, it looks like there's a guy on the ground, he's already down, and he's just being booted in the face for no other reason than sheer violence for its own sake. Okay, so that's how the story broke. And as you said, their solicitor, Muslim solicitor. Oh, these are Pakistani men, aren't they? I think they're Pakistani. They're certainly Muslim. Completely inbred. Obviously, at a glance, inbred. Anyway, so they have super low IQ, low impulse control. Anyway, their solicitor came out and just said, this is brutality, this is Islamophobia, this is just the evidence of an institutionally racist police force and country, all of that. And I'd almost forgotten that they'd bombarded the police station. A little flash mob turned up, trying to just completely circumvent the rule of law. What, trying to intimidate the police into letting them go? Anyway, turns out that they'd started it. In the end, the footage showed that the police had tried to arrest them, restrain them, and they just went berserk, started fighting all the police that were there, including two police women, in which this geezer smashed them in the face, broke one of their noses, throwing full punches right to their face, and both of them wiling out. And in the end, I think they got tasered, but one of them, this guy, was on the ground, and although he was on the ground, he wasn't restrained, he wasn't in cuffs or anything. So he wasn't restrained, and so the police were doing what they had to do to subdue him. And so the entire thing was completely their fault for being psychos.
Yeah,
trying to fight all the police. Now 100%. They've been found guilty. So
100%. Yeah, I think it's actually really important to note is that, you know, so that, I mean, there's so many elements to this situation, isn't there? So like, and we'll get to the guilty verdict in a minute, I think. But let's talk about it, I guess. This perfectly exemplifies their attitudes to, you know, how the institutions are their friend, right? In what world would you see this happening? You know, with certain ethnicities? Very unlikely, very, very, very unlikely, because they know that they can play the racist card. They know they can play the Islamophobia card. Such a brazen attack. You know, they felt that they were able to do it, able to get away with it. I mean, it's just insane, like actually insane. You know, that kind of behavior is insane. And they also know that the police are a soft touch on them, even if they were, you know, so, I mean, they attack police. They know that they're going to be a soft touch because they know that the police aren't going to shoot them, which this would have happened in pretty much any other airport in the world. Pretty much any other airport in the world. If you get two Muslim men beating on the police, other police probably would have come up and shot them for probably good reason, quite frankly, because what's the propensity for terror in Islam? Well, yeah, pretty bloody high, actually. Yeah, pretty bloody high. Any police officer seeing that, you know, two Muslims fighting a bunch of police, yeah, they're probably going to go, oh, yeah, maybe something's going to happen here. Yeah, we'll probably put them down quickly. Any other place in the world, 9 times out of 10, any other place in the world would have shot them dead. They're so, it just reeks of this, well, just of their sort of brazen, they're emboldened, aren't they, by the state?
Privilege,
effectively.
actual privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, a type of racial privilege. I mean, in the clip, you can see for whatever reason, the police have taken them to one side, and then for whatever reason, they decide they're going to detain them. They start to sort of struggle. One of the male cops grabs him sort of by the back of the neck and tries to get his arm behind his back as though he's going to start putting handcuffs on him. And he just starts going crazy. And then his mate just starts going crazy. There's about 4 or 5 police around, 2 of which are women. And while one of them's sort of fighting the cops, this guy is just, throwing full-blown punches straight to the middle of the face of these little 5'3", 100-pound women. Like putting them down easily, obviously, knocking them, smashing them up. Absolutely disgusting behaviour. To resist arrest at all in an airport where the cops have got guns is madness. Actually fight them is another madness. And to just be full-blown fighting women cops. Like there's a clip of her like afterwards with a bloody nose. I think it broke her nose. All bloodied, and she's crying, and and the other thing, I remember their solicitor going on record saying that it was certainly the case that they hadn't started it, that there was no aggression from them, like the cops just for no reason started beating them up and booting them in the face when they're on the ground not resisting. Like that's what he said. That's what he said. How is he a solicitor? These scumbags.
Yeah, massively. There's so many layers to this, isn't there? Because, you know, when you flood your country with effectively savages and barbarians, police by consent goes out the window. So, you know, because that's what we are. You know, we're police by consent, right? So, when the consent is removed by savages and barbarians, what do? Like, what do you then do? Because you can't keep hiring 5'0" women either, because that works in a society which accepts police by consent. That it works in that society. You know, it's not ideal. I wouldn't personally have any women on the front line in that regard, like at all. They're just not biologically capable for it. Unequivocally not, demonstrably not. So that bloody word again. But yeah, like in a society where you just import savages and barbarians, you cannot do police by consent because they don't consent to being policed. Clearly not, because they went on a rampage. They went on an absolute rampage. Like I said, there's just so many layers to it. So actually, I think it does say in this what happened before, because the reason why the police approached them was a previous incident with them and other people being sort of aggressive and violent towards other people. That's why the police came to them, because they've already been reports of them doing stuff. So it says there's a student of what has been found guilty of attacking 2 female officers during a large violent disturbance at Manchester Airport. Mohammed Fahir Amars, 20, was charged with assaulting the Greater Manchester police officers during the fracas on the 23rd of July last year. The fact that it takes a year is just obscene. With mobile phone footage of the incident being widely shared on social media. Not relevant, but why don't the fact that they included that? No idea. Following a 3-week trial at Liverpool Crown Court, Amars was convicted of assaulting PC Lydia Ward, causing actual bodily harm, and the assault of emergency worker PC Ellie Cook. After 10 hours of deliberating, the jury was unable to reach verdicts on allegations that Amars and his brother, Mohammed Ahmad, 26, assaulted PC Zachary Marsden, causing actual bodily harm. It's all there in footage. Prosecutors are now seeking a retrial on those counts. Good. Absolutely good. Brilliant. Amars was also found guilty of an earlier assault of a member of the public, Abdul Karim Ismail, who is at a Starbucks cafe in the airport's arrivals area earlier in that day. So that's why the police were there, because they'd previously assaulted someone. Again, any other airport in the world probably would have been shot. America definitely would have been shot. 100% would have been shot. And this, you can see bits of it here. This red-haired woman really bears the brunt of it. The footage of her crying, it's very uncomfortable. It's not nice. It's not nice at all. And in that footage, she says something to the effect of, "Oh, I've never been hit before, blah blah blah." And it's like, yeah. That's why women shouldn't do the job. Women, and I don't want to get too hung up on female police officers. That's a whole other sort of conversation, I guess. But women shouldn't be police officers because men know violence. Men always know violence. The type of violence men know, women will never know. They just won't. Like, men know what it's like to take a punch to the face numerous times, generally speaking, numerous times. A woman just doesn't get it. They just don't understand. It's why they shouldn't be frontline. So, yeah, pretty bad. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they chimed in with. Giving evidence, Amaz said he feared the lunatic male officer would batter him to death.
It's a liar. What a liar. As if.
The defense claimed the officers had used unlawful force as they grabbed Amaz from behind without announcing themselves. That's weak. I can see why they did that, because the footage wouldn't have shown audio unless there was body-worn footage that showed it as well, and actually had audio on it. So maybe that was why they did that. But I don't care. Like, you go around threatening people, assaulting people in an airport. I think the police completely have a right to come up and grab you and be like, "No, what are you doing?" Like, "No, you're under arrest." Like, I think that's fine, quite frankly.
They were trying to arrest him. They were just trying to detain him, and they went berserk. But the officer is the lunatic in this. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Physiognomy checks out.
I mean, at a glance, Inbred.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Jesus. Yeah, absolutely. And this is the statement from PC Ward. As I came around, all I could feel was blood pouring out of my nose. I was just thinking he's done something to my nose, face area. I didn't know what has happened. I was terrified, to be honest. I was absolutely terrified. I'd never experienced that level of violence towards me in my life. And this is why, not to get too hung up on it, this is why women should not be frontline.
Yeah.
They just should not be frontline.
There's loads of roles in the police that women can do, but being on the beat, being a beat cop, is not one of them. No. Even if they're big, even if they're physically big, even if they're 6'1" and weigh 200 pounds. No. It's not a woman's job. It's not a woman's role.
Yeah.
To be a beat cop and to have never been in a fight, to have never been on the receiving end of a punch ever. Like, that's mad. That's crazy.
It's mental.
It's not the job for you.
Especially not in a society that's degrading and eroding, and consent for policing has been removed by certain groups, by the police themselves, because they've emboldened them. The state has emboldened these people, right? Hare Hills riots last year, for instance, police just ran away, did bugger all, no arrests, no charges, no one in prison, no Keir Starmer standing up on a plinth telling everyone you will regret this. No, none of that. They know that they're on the side of the state. They know that they've got the police's side. And when you do that with violent savages, what do you expect to happen, you imbeciles? So absurd. So no statements from anyone? None? Those that came out and made statements when this happened? No statements at all. I think the saddest part of all of this is the fact that, look at the state of them as well. I think the saddest part of this is that the police may still get sacked, even though these people have been found guilty. The police officers in question may still get the sack because of an investigation by the IOPCC, which is, to me, just absurd, absolutely absurd, and will further embolden them. And I will say this. I like 99% certain would put money on them getting the sack, and probably be orchestrated from the state as a way to mitigate the outrage that these people have been found guilty. That's what I think, but that's me being super cynical.
Yeah. And as you said on your segment on the Lotus Eaters, the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, check it out, the other day, is that in the future, when the magistrates or juries are packed with, our demographic is such, the magistrates themselves and the judiciary is completely packed with their tribe, these people won't be found guilty of these things. Where in the last few years, I think my colleague Dan Tubb made a tweet about that, saying these are the last few years where people like this will actually face any sort of justice at all, because in the future it will go along tribal lines. And they'll just find the way O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of a murder because a few black jurors refused to accept the evidence. That's what we'll get in the future, probably. But yeah, I feel sorry for the cops, particularly the male cop that will probably get the brunt of it, when all he was doing was his job, protecting the people in that airport at the time. Yeah, you're right. These are barbarians. They've got no place here.
No, savages don't belong in civilization. They should never have been brought here. They don't belong in civilization at all. Go home. Just go home. And I think what'll be interesting will be, like, sure, they've been found guilty. How long are they going to get? Because I bet you it will be less than Lucy Connolly, who did a tweet that she deleted. I bet you it will be less than that. And that's a true miscarriage of justice right there.